Welcome and thank you for listening to this Paragon Edge audio blog. In this episode, we take a closer look at EMV cryptography and how supporting this necessary but complex technology can slow payment testing and certification activities to a crawl. After we take a look at how these cryptographic functions actually work, we'll highlight some of the ways that Paragon's web fastest platform and its integrated cryptography calculator can help simplify and streamline the EMV testing process to save payment industry participants both time and money. In the first installment of this two-part blog series, we explored the critical role that EMV cryptography plays in enhancing the security of card-present payment transactions. Over the past 25 years, EMV chip technology has truly transformed the payment processing landscape, with over 14 billion EMV cards currently in circulation and 95% of global in-store transactions chip-enabled. The net result has been a significant reduction in counterfeit fraud, up to 90% in some markets. In the first blog, we also reviewed several significant challenges associated with supporting the EMV chip technology. The ongoing effort to achieve and maintain compliance with the EMV standards, including testing and certification, can be complex, time-consuming, and expensive. Some of the specific issues impacting these efforts include: Number 1. The EMV specifications continue to evolve with changing market conditions. Number 2. Each participating network has its own set of testing and certification requirements. Number 3, regional variations in the EMV standards must also be analyzed and addressed. Number 4, staying compliant with the EMV specifications requires frequent testing. And finally, experienced EMV resources can be difficult to find and expensive to hire. Working within the parameters established by the EMV standards often results in extended project cycles, missed delivery dates, cost overruns, and the delayed rollout of new revenue-generating initiatives. In the very dynamic payment industry that we operate in today, where consumers demand speed and convenience above all else, these delays can put any organization at a competitive disadvantage. The most frustrating aspect of the entire testing and certification process for many organizations is the amount of time simply spent waiting. Waiting for test windows to open up, waiting for a response after a test, and waiting for guidance on how to correct an error before moving on to the next step in the process. One specific area that can cause significant waiting times in the EMV testing and certification process is dealing with its complex cryptography. As we have noted, sophisticated cryptography is at the core of how EMV chip cards ensure the integrity of retail payment transactions and protect against counterfeit fraud. These cryptographic operations rely on the manipulation of specific data elements, or EMV tags, that are used to generate a unique authorization request cryptogram, the ARQC, for each transaction and validate the corresponding authorization response cryptogram, the ARPC response, from the card issuer. Here is an overview of how the process works. During an EMV transaction, either contact or contactless, the chip card generates an ARQC that includes data from the card, terminal, and transaction itself. Information that is unique and location-specific, which cannot be replicated or duplicated. The ARQC is sent from the point of sale to the acquirer and across the appropriate payment network rails to the card issuer for verification. If the card issuer verifies the ARQC as authentic, it generates the ARPC and sends the appropriate response back through the network to the point of sale, and the transaction is authorized. However, correctly calculating the ARQC and ARPC can be a challenging task. Every data element must be correctly selected, assembled, and processed to generate the unique ARQC cryptogram, or the transaction will fail. To generate a valid EMV ARQC, EMV specifies a minimum list of data tags to be used as part of the cryptographic calculation, including variables like the date, time, amount, and currency of the transaction, as well as other static and derived data elements that ensure that the transaction is truly unique. While EMV specifies a minimum set of requirements, each card brand and payment network can, and does, impose its own set of global and regional variations on this baseline calculation. The result is a complicated matrix of complex requirements that is one of the primary causes of long testing and certification timeframes. Many organizations, especially those responsible for acquiring transactions at the point of sale, do not have easy access to an issuer test host to validate that they are correctly formatting and generating the ARQC. They must schedule time and wait for limited access to scarce resources before they can even run their test. And after they run their tests, they may face more delays in getting the test results and then even longer delays in getting guidance on how to correct errors if their tests have failed. Designed to simplify and streamline payment testing operations, Paragon's Web Fast Test platform includes support for both the acquirer and issuer processing components for dozens of ISO and non-ISO message specifications, including EMV contact and contactless transactions. Web Fast Test includes a powerful and flexible cryptography calculator that helps streamline EMV testing efforts and minimize wait times and delays. Web Fast Test, and the cryptography calculator in particular, put users in total control of the EMV testing process, saving time, reducing errors, and ensuring compliance with EMV and card brand requirements. Navigating the complexities of EMV cryptography can be challenging, especially for resources who do not already have in-depth knowledge of how the technology works. The Web Fastest platform correctly formats and processes both the ARQC and ARPC cryptograms for international and regional card brands and networks. Web Fastest also contains the cryptography calculator that can be used for detailed exploratory testing and troubleshooting. It is easy to access and work with the cryptography calculator in Web Fastest via the simple browser-based user interface. Users navigate to the cryptography calculators from the main Web Fastest menu and select EMV Cryptogram Calculator from the drop-down menu. Any resources who use the cryptography calculators regularly can pin this location to their workspace for speedy access at any time. The calculator makes it easy to select the appropriate card issuer specification, such as Visa or MasterCard, and the corresponding key derivation method. The user can then enter session keys directly or use the Derive Session Keys feature to calculate them dynamically by providing key components like the application PAN and PAN sequence number. The next step is to choose the output type, either the ARQC for transaction requests or the ARPC for transaction responses. The required EMV tags are then entered into the ICC Elements field. The calculator even has a wizard feature that offers guided setup instructions that help ensure tag strings are correctly formatted. The user simply clicks Calculate to generate the desired cryptogram. Any errors or missing data are immediately flagged for easy correction. Consider the scenario where a transaction acquirer needs to verify that their device or application is correctly calculating the ARQC for a new transaction type. With the Paragon Web Fast Test solution, they simply set up the sending side of the transaction in their application and fire it off to the virtual host feature, which knows how to correctly respond to the incoming request message according to the specification being used. If the ARQC is correctly formatted and calculated, Web Fast Test will provide the correct ARPC response according to the selected specification. If the ARQC is not correct, the ARPC will not be generated, and Web Fast Test will immediately respond with an error message indicating what went wrong. The acquirer can make the necessary corrections and retest. No need to schedule or book test time and then wait for a response to come back later. Web Fast Test and the virtual host are available 24/7 and ready for testing, anytime and from anywhere. In the event that the acquirer resources still have problems getting the ARQC to process correctly, they can use the cryptography calculator to perform detailed analysis and troubleshooting until they get their transaction corrected. This approach highlights the significant value that the Paragon tools provide as they streamline the EMV testing process to save users time, effort, and expense. The Web Fastest platform is more than just a testing tool. It is a strategic asset that addresses several pain points associated with financial message testing, including contact and contactless EMV processing, and provides significant benefits, including availability. The robust set of testing capabilities is always available and ready for testing 24/7. Accessibility. A simple, browser-based interface can be accessed from anywhere and customized according to the specific job functions any individual user needs to perform. Accuracy. Correctly formatted messages, including scheme-specific cryptography components like ARQC and ARPC cryptograms, are easily generated and validated, minimizing errors and rework. Efficiency. Shared access to test data, cards, results, and reports, as well as flexible automation options, help to significantly increase resource productivity. Flexibility. A wide variety of industry-standard message specifications, including both acquirer and issuer processing, are supported out of the box. The success of EMV chip technology as a deterrent against card-present fraud is clearly evident. No payment industry participant with any size or scale, either issuer or acquirer, can afford to operate without it. However, adopting, supporting, and maintaining the EMV standards requires significant time, effort, and resources, especially when it comes to testing and certification. In this environment, the right testing tools can make a significant difference. Paragon's Web Fast Test platform, with enhanced features and capabilities such as its EMV Cryptography calculator, simplifies, streamlines, and automates testing operations, enabling any payment industry participant to minimize the ongoing overhead of compliance and maximize the productivity of its operations in order to focus on innovation and growth. No matter if you are a card issuer, acquirer, retailer, payment processor, or terminal vendor, Web Fast Test has been designed to provide each client with the features, functionality, and flexibility they require to take total control of their payment testing environment. Interested in learning more about how Paragon can help your organization maximize the productivity of its payment testing operations by delivering advanced capabilities like the EMV Cryptography calculator? Visit us at www.paragonedge.com and request a consultation today. Thank you for listening.